If you look at Britain on a map today, it may seem like its influence is limited to the British Isles, but in reality, it still holds power over 14 overseas territories scattered across the globe, from Gibraltar at the gateway of the Mediterranean to the distant Falkland Islands, remnants of what was once the largest empire in history, an empire that ruled over a quarter of the Earth's land and nearly a third of its population, famously known as the empire on which the sun never set. However, this global dominance did not emerge overnight, as its roots trace back to the rise of England as a powerful kingdom that gradually extended control over Wales and parts of Ireland, while Scotland remained fiercely independent until the crowns united in 1603 and later formally merged in 1707 to create Great Britain, a stronger entity that began expanding beyond Europe during the Age of Exploration under Queen Elizabeth I, sending adventurers like Sir Francis Drake to claim distant lands, although early attempts, such as the mysterious Roanoke colony, failed, leading Britain to shift focus toward trade through powerful joint stock companies like the East India Company, which effectively operated as both commercial and political forces, controlling vast regions. Over time, Britain expanded its colonies across North America, the Caribbean, Africa, and Asia, building immense wealth through trade and naval supremacy, though this growth was deeply tied to the brutal transatlantic slave trade, while constant wars against rival European powers like France and Spain further strengthened its position, especially after key victories such as the 7 Years' War, which established Britain as the dominant global power. Yet internal tensions arose when Britain imposed taxes on its American colonies without representation, sparking the American Revolution and resulting in the loss of the United States in 1776. A major turning point that forced Britain to redirect its expansion toward Asia and the Pacific, where explorers like Captain James Cook charted Australia and New Zealand, with Australia becoming a penal colony, while British naval dominance was solidified after the decisive victory at the Battle of Trafalgar in 1805, ensuring control of the seas for over a century. Meanwhile, India emerged as the most valuable colony, especially after the Sepoy Rebellion of 1857 led to direct British rule, earning it the title Jewel in the Crown. And as the 19th century progressed, Britain expanded further into Africa during the Scramble for Africa, securing strategic regions like Egypt and the Suez Canal, which became vital for global trade routes, marking the peak of British power during its so-called imperial century from 1815 to 1914, when it dominated global trade, politics, and communication networks, even influencing countries beyond its empire. But this dominance began to decline after the devastating costs of World War I and World War II, which drained Britain economically and militarily, leading to a wave of independence movements across its colonies throughout the mid-20th century, in a period known as the Wind of Change, as nations in Asia, Africa, and the Caribbean gained freedom, ultimately dismantling the empire, with the final symbolic moment arriving in 1997, when Hong Kong was handed back to China, marking the end of centuries of colonial rule. Yet despite its fall, the legacy of the British Empire continues to shape the modern world through the widespread use of the English language, global cultural influence, and the continued association of former colonies within the Commonwealth, proving that although the empire itself has vanished, its impact remains deeply embedded in the fabric of our world today.